Hello, my dear young minds. How are you all? I hope you all are doing really very well. In our today's class, we are going to start our chapter number 9, and the name of this chapter is The Necklace. See, my dear student, this chapter is based on how unsatisfied we all human beings are with our life. Okay, really, we all human beings are unsatisfied with our life. Okay, but it is our biggest regret. Okay, it will become our biggest regret of our life. Okay, always be happy, okay, with your life. Whatever the things you have, always want to be happy with your life. Okay, because in this chapter you are going to see how preferring external luxurious things over your internal peace, you are going to destroy yourself. Okay, so this is the moral lesson of this chapter. Okay, now come with me and let's start reading the chapter. Valuing external appearances over contentment and honesty leads to the tragic consequences of materialism and dishonesty. My dear students, whenever you are preferring external appearance, means whenever you are preferring your external appearance, okay, whenever you are preferring the other person's external appearance over his or her internal appearance, it means what? You are going to see the worst phase of your life. Okay, if you are preferring the materialist thing, if you are preferring luxurious things, if you are thinking if you are thinking this, that person possesses so much luxurious things, so much, she or he is rich, he or she must be happy. No, it is not right. Okay, maybe they have maybe they have a lot of money, but is it necessary they are happy? Okay, so the first line of this paragraph is saying that you don't have to prefer the external appearance. Okay, always prefer internal appearance. The story encourages appreciating what one has and understanding that true happiness comes from within, not from material possessions or societal validations. Okay, so in this chapter you are going to see that you can achieve the true happiness from your inner peace. Okay, not from the not from the societal norms. Okay, not from the materialist things which you have. Okay, now come with me, let's explore the chapter. She was one of those pretty and girls born as if by an error of faith into a family of clerks. She had no dowry, no expectations, no means of becoming known, understood, loved or wedded by a man of wealth and distinction, and so let herself be married to a minor official at the Ministry of Education. So the story starts with a lady. Okay, a girl child is born. Okay, a girl child was born in a family of a poor parents. Okay, although that girl child was really very beautiful, very beautiful. Okay, although her parents are very poor, that's why they can't afford dowry. Okay, they can't give dowry. Okay, they even can't wed their daughter with a rich man. Okay, that's why when that girl, okay, when that girl entered the phase of her womanhood, she got married to a ordinary people. Okay, ordinary person who worked in a Ministry of Education. She dressed plainly because she had never been able to afford anything better, but she was as unhappy as if she had once been wealthy. Women don't belong to a caste or class. Their beauty, grace, and natural charm take the place of birth and family. Natural delicacy, instinctive elegance, and a quick wit determine their place in society and make the daughters of commoners the equals to the very finest lady. Okay, first of all, she always think that my luck was very bad. First, I got a birth in a clerk's family. Okay, I become poor. Okay, and after that, I also got wedded with a poor person. Okay, I don't have any kind of good dresses to wear. I don't have any jewelries to wear. Okay, she always think that women don't belong to any caste or class. Okay, okay. She was always unhappy. She always think that I have a very beautiful face. It means I should belong to the elite class woman. Okay, I should belong to elite class woman. But you know what, my dear student? This line, women don't belong to a caste or class. Their beauty, grace, and natural charm take place of birth and family. This is absolutely right. Here, the writer of this chapter is trying to say that woman, okay, women's, maybe they belong to any caste, maybe they have any kind of skin tone, but they are very beautiful creation of the God. Okay, they are very beautiful creation. Women's caste, woman's status defined by her birth and defined by her family. Okay, natural delicacy, instinctive elegance, and a quick wit determine their place in society and make the daughter of commoner the equal make the daughter of commoners the equal of the very finest ladies. See, it is the nature of women that they have a very soft heart. Okay, and their manner, okay, and their manner, their habit, their nature, okay, they make a place in the society where they are standing equally with the woman belonging to elite class. Okay, now she suffered endlessly, feeling she was entitled to all the delicacies and luxuries of life. She suffered because of the poorness of her house as she looked at the dirty walls, of worn out chairs, and the ugly curtains. Okay, but on the other hand side, okay, but on the other hand side, the main lady of this chapter was very unhappy. She always thought, my luck is very bad because because I got a birth in this poor family, and right now I have to live in this dirty house. Okay, she was not happy with her life. She always complain and complain and always keep complaining. All these things that another woman of her class would not even have noticed tormented her and made her resentful. The sight of the little Branton girl who did her housework filled her with terrible regrets and hopeless fantasies. She dreamed of silent antechambers, hung with oriental tapestries, lit from above by torches in bronze holder, while two tall footmen in knee-length breeches napped in huge armchairs, sleepy from the stove's oppressive warmth. Now see, she always dreamed that she have a house. Okay, she always kept dreaming that they have a house full of luxury things. Okay, and the woman belonging to her age, they are doing their own household work. It make, okay, this idea make her suck. Okay, because she was not happy with her life. Okay, she always thought that, why God, why you have done this injustice to me. Okay, I want a luxurious life. I don't want this stupid life. I don't want this poor life. Okay, I don't want to live such kind of life. Okay, she dreamed of vast living room furnished in rare old silk elegant furniture loaded with priceless ornaments and inviting smaller rooms perfumed made for afternoon chats with close friends, famous sought after man who all women envy and desire. But instead of having a luxurious house, she have a small house. That's why she all time keep complaining. Okay, she always have a dream of a very luxurious, very big house. Okay, and she wants to wear silk cloth, having a elegant furniture in her house. Okay, and she wants to wear, okay, she always wanted to wear heavy jewelries. Okay, when she sat down to at a round table covered with a 3-day-old cloth opposite her husband, who lifting the lid of the soup shouted excitedly, ah, beef stew. What could be better? She dreamed of the fine dinner, of shining silverware, of tapestries that peopled the walls with figures from another time, and strange birds in fairy forest. She dreamed of delicious dishes served on wonderful plates of whispered gallantries, listened to with an inscrutable smile as one at the pink flash of a throat or the wings of a cure. Okay, at so at night when she was sitting on her dining table with her husband was just awing over the delicious item which is presented in front of him. He was saying, ah, beef stew, what could be the better? Okay, see, her husband was really very good man. Okay, although he earns a very less amount of money, but he was a very good person, and he tried everything to keep his wife happy. But she always made a face, she always made her mood off. Okay, she was not happy with her husband. Although she always dreamed that instead of this plates, I want to eat dinner in a silverware utensils. She had no dresses, no jewels, nothing, and these were only things she loved. She felt she was made for them alone. She wanted so much to charm, to be envied, to be desired and sought after. Okay, she had no good dresses to wear. She had no good and heavy jewelries to wear. Although she always dreamt of all these things. Okay, because she want to be cherished, she want to be loved among all the among all the her society, among all her presented among all her friends. Okay, she had a rich friend, a former schoolmate at the convent, whom she no longer wanted to visit because she suffered so much when she came home. For a whole day afterwards, she would weep with sorrow, regret, despair, and misery. So, due to his poorness, okay, due to his poor house, due to his poor status, this lady stopped meeting her old school friends, okay, because she thought, if I'm going to meet my school friend, they are going to insult me because I'm poor. Okay, I was born poor and now I wedded to a man who is also a poor. One evening, her husband came home with an air of thumb, holding a large envelope in his hand. Okay, so one evening, her husband came home carrying an envelope in her hand. Look, he said, here's something for you. Immediately, her husband handed that envelope in her hand. He said, look, I bought something for you. She tore open the paper and drew out a card on which was printed the words. Okay, so immediately this lady tore the envelope and took out a card, and on that card, few words are written. The Minister of Education and Mrs. The Minister of Education and Mrs. George Ramponio request the pleasure of Mr. and Mrs. Lozel's company at the ministry on the evening of Monday, January 18th. Actually, it was an invitation card on which that lady and her husband was invited to attend a party which is going to be held on January 18th. Instead of being delighted as her husband had hoped, she threw the invitation on the table resentfully and muttered. But instead of getting happy, immediately she threw the paper in the direction of her husband. Okay, her husband was shocked. What do you want me to do with that? Okay, and that lady asked to her husband, what? Okay, what do you want me to do right now? Okay, why you want to take me with you to this party? But my dear, I thought you would be pleased. You never go out and it will be such a lovely occasion. I had awful trouble getting it. Everyone wants to go. It is very exclusive and they are not giving many invitations to club. The whole ministry will be there. Okay. So her husband said, but my dear, you really you hardly even go outside, so I want, if you go in this party with me, your mood will be changed, okay, and you will enjoy this party. Okay, very few person got this invitation and I'm lucky that I got invitation for attending this party. She stared at him angrily and said impatiently. Now his wife was staring at him angrily, and immediately she said, and what do you expect me to wear if I go? He hadn't thought of that. He stammered, and immediately his wife asked, and have you ever thought what I'm going to wear in that party? Okay, her husband didn't think about this. Okay, immediately he said, why, the dress you the theater, it seems very nice to me. He stopped, stunned, distressed to see his wife crying. Two large tears run slowly from the corners of her eyes towards the corner of her mouth. She shuddered. Okay, immediately her husband said, why, what about that dress which you wear when we went to the theater? Okay, immediately after listening the response of her husband, she started crying. Okay, and after seeing that his wife is crying, she was shocked. Immediately she asked, what's the matter, what's the matter? With great effort she overcome her grief and replied in a calm voice as she whipped her wet cheeks. Okay, immediately her husband asked, what's the matter, why are you crying? Okay, and that lady said while wiping up her tear, nothing, only I have no dress and so I can't go to this party. Give your invitation to a friend whose wife has better clothes than I do. So his wife is saying, nothing, okay, no matter, okay, you can give this invitation card to any one of your friend whose wife have a lot of dresses, a lot of jewelry to wear. He was distraught but tried again, and after listening the response of her wife, her husband was literally disheartened. But immediately he said, let's see, Mathilde, how much would a suitable dress cost? Which one which you could use again on other occasions, something very simple. So her husband says, Mathilde, you don't need to break your heart. Okay, just tell me how much money you want to buy or to purchase a new dress. She thought for a moment, computing the cost, and also wondering what amount she could ask for without any immediate refusal, and an alarmed exclamation from the 30 clerk. from a thrifty clerk. Okay, so Mathilde, okay, his wife name is Mathilde. Okay, she started thinking for a minute, because she was asking, because how much amount she was going to ask from her clerk husband. At last she answered hesitantly, I don't know exactly, but I think I could do it with 400 francs. And at last, in an hesitant voice, she said, I really don't know how much I'm going to ask you, but I think 400 francs are enough. 400 francs means a currency, okay, a currency which is used in France, Belgium, Switzerland, Luxembourg, etc. and etc. European countries. He turned a little pale, because he had been saving that exact amount to buy a gun and threat himself to a hunting trip the following summer in the country near Nanterre with a few friends, went lark shooting there on Sunday. Okay, so immediately her husband stammered, okay, because he was saving those 400 francs to buying a new gun, because in summer vacations, because in summer season he wants to go on a hunting with his friends. However, he said, very well, I can give you 400 francs, but try and get a really beautiful dress. But instead of buying the gun for himself, he is trying to please her wife. Okay, so immediately he said, okay, no problem, I'm going to give you 400 francs, but make sure you are going to purchase a very, very nice dress for you. The day of the party drew near, and the Madame Loisel seemed sad, restless, and anxious. Her dress was ready. However, one evening her husband said to her, what's the matter? You have been acting strange this last 3 days. She replied, I am upset that I have no jewel, not a single stone to wear. I will look cheap. I would almost rather not go to the party. Now, after getting 400 francs, Mathilde purchased a very nice dress for herself. Okay, but now when the day of attending party came closer, she started behaving in a very strange way. Okay, and after observing her strange behavior, her husband asked, what's the matter, Mathilde? Why you are behaving so much in a weird way? Okay, so Mathilde replied, see, I have a dress, but I don't have any piece of jewelry. Okay, I'm going to look a cheap without any heavy piece of jewelry in the party. I don't want to go in the party. You could wear flowers, he said. They are very fashionable at this time of year. For 10 francs, you could get 2 or 3 magnificent roses. So immediately her husband said, Mathilde, you can wear flower jewelry. They are quite popular these days. Okay, just take this 10 francs. You can buy 2 red roses. She was not convinced. No, there is nothing more humiliating than looking poor in the middle of a lot of rich women. So immediately Mathilde said, no, it will, I will, I feel humiliated in front of all those rich ladies. I'm not going to wear the piece of jewelry which is made up of flower. How stupid you are, cried. Go and see your friend Madame Forestier, ask her to lend you some jewel. You know her well enough for that. She uttered a cry of joy. Of course, I had not thought of that. The next day, she went to her friend house and told her of her distress. Madame Forestier went to her mirrored wardrobe, took out a large box, brought it back, opened it, and said to Madame Loisel, choose, my dear. Okay, so immediately her husband said, how stupid you are, Mathilde. Okay, you forgot about your friend Madame Forestier. Just go to Madame Forestier and ask that you want to take, okay, you want to take her any piece of jewelry only for this party. So immediately Mathilde went to meet Mrs. Forestier, okay, and tell that I want a piece of jewelry from you to wear for a night, for attending a party. So immediately, okay, so immediately Madame Forestier fulfilled the demand of her friend, okay, and she started opening the boxes of her jewelry and said, choose, my dear. Okay, and she offered, Mathilde, you can choose any piece of jewelry from these boxes. First, she saw some bracelets, then a pearl necklace, then a gold Venetian cross set with precious stones of exquisite craftsmanship. She tried on the jewelry in the mirror, hesitated, could not bear to part with them, to give them back. She kept asking, you have nothing else? Why, yes, but I don't know what you like. So after that, Mathilde tried each and every piece of jewelry while sitting in near front of the mirror. Okay, she don't want to part herself from that pieces of jewelry. Okay, and at last she asked to Madame Forestier, can you show me another piece of jewelry if you have? Suddenly, she discovered in a black satin box a superb diamond necklace, and her heart began to beat with uncontrolled desire. Her hands trembled as she took it. She fastened it around her neck over her high neck dress and stood lost in ex- ecstasy as she looked at herself. Then she asked, anxiously hesitating, and immediately Mathilde's eyes fell on a black box. Okay, and that in that black box, a very beautiful necklace was resting. So immediately she asked, but in a hesitant voice, to Madame Forestier, "Would you lend me this, just this?" "Why, yes, of course." "Madame Forestier, can you please give me this piece of jewelry?" Madame Forestier said, "Yes, of course, I can give you." She threw her arm around her friend's neck, embarrassed her rapturously, then flew with her treasure. Okay, so immediately Mathilde hugged Mrs. Forestier, and by taking that piece of jewelry, she came back to her house. The day of the party arrived. Madame Loisel was a success. She was prettier than all the other women, elegant, gracious, smiling, and full of joy. All the men stared at her, asked her name, tried to be introduced. All the cabinet officials wanted to waltz with her. The minister noticed her. Okay, so after wearing 400 franc dress, and after wearing the jewelry she borrowed from Mrs. Forestier, Mathilde was looking a wow. Mathilde was looking very beautiful. Okay, when she attended that party with her husband, okay, she become the center of attraction. Everybody wants to dance with her. Okay, and everybody was noticing her in that party. Okay, and this thing also noticed by minister. She danced wildly with passion, drunk on pleasure, forgetting everything in the triumph of her beauty, in glory of her success, in short of cloud of happiness, made up of all this respect, all this admiration, all this awkwardness, desires of that sense of triumph. So that is so sweet to a woman's heart. Okay, now she started dancing wildly on the dance floor. She started drinking very hungrily, like now there's no morning for tomorrow. Okay, she was forgetting every sorrow of her life. Right now she was just enjoying herself. She was just showing her true self. Yes, this is am I. Okay, she left at about 4 o'clock in the morning. Her husband has been dozing since midnight in a little deserted anteroom with three other gentlemen whose wives are having a good time. Okay. Now she left the party at the 4 o'clock in the morning with her husband. Okay. Her husband was feeling sleepy, and he was resting in a room with the other three men whom wife were also enjoying, just like Mathilde. He threw over her shoulders the clothes he had brought for her to go outside in, the modest clothes of an ordinary life whose poverty contrasted sharply with the elegance of the ball dress. Her husband also bought another piece of dress, okay, which is a very ordinary dress, which is a very common dress, which is showing that they belong to a poor class, okay. So because he want that Mathilde should change, okay, should change into something comfortable when going back to home. She felt this and wanted to run away, so she wouldn't be noticed by the other women who were wrapping themselves in the expensive furs. Loisel held her back, and all this thing noticed Mathilde. All those things noticed by Mathilde. She don't want to feel any. She don't want to feel any. She don't want to feel much lesser than any one of the lady present there. Anyone. She don't want to feel any kind of lesser amount in front of those rich ladies. Okay, wait a moment, you will catch a cold outside. I will go and find a cab. Okay, and after thinking all this thing, she started running on the street. Okay, so Loisel, her husband, was following her, and continuously he was saying that, Mathilde, just stop it, you are going to catch a cold, just wear this dress. But she would not listen to him and run down the stairs. When they were finally in the street, they could not find a cab and began to look for one, shouting at the cabman they saw passing in the distance. But Mathilde and Loisel failed to find a cab. Okay, now they are asking a lift. They walked down the sand in despair, shivering with cold. At last, they found on the quay one of those old nightcaps that one sees in Paris only after dark, as if they were ashamed to show their shabbiness during the day. Okay, now both Loisel and Mathilde started walking because they are not getting any kind of any cab. Okay, but after walking for few minutes, they find a cab. They were dropped off at their door in the Rio des Martyrs and sadly walked up the steps to their apartment. It was all over for her, and he was remembering that he had to be back at 10 o'clock. Okay, so when Mathilde and Lozel get back to their home, which is get back their home, the name of their home is Rio des Martyrs. Okay, now Mathilde was thinking all was over. Okay, it was just like a dream, and my dream was shattered. Now I am coming back to my normal daily housewife routine. Okay, and Lozel was thinking that tomorrow again I have to go office at 10 a.m. In front of the mirror, she of the clothes around her shoulders, taking a final look at herself in all her glory. But suddenly she uttered a cry. She no longer had the necklace round the neck. Okay, when she was changing while sitting in front of the mirror, immediately her eyes fell on her neck because in her neck area there was no piece of jewelry. What's the matter? Asked her husband, already half undressed. She turned towards him, panic stricken. Okay, now her husband was asking, what's the matter, Mathilde? Why you are shouting? Okay, I no longer have Madame Forestier necklace. He stood up distraught. Now Mathilde said, I don't, I'm not able to find the necklace of Madame Forestier. Immediately, Lozel stand up from his place. What? How that's possible? He was asking, what? How is this possible? You lost that necklace. They looked in the folds of her dress, in the folds of her cloak, in her pockets, everywhere. Could not find it. Now they started looking for that necklace everywhere, in every pocket which is present in their dress, but they are failed to find that necklace. Are you sure you still had it on when you left the ball? He asked. Yes, I touched it in the hall of the ministry. So immediately Lozel asked, Mathilde, are you sure that while dancing or while having fun in that party, you are still wearing the dress? Mathilde replied, yes, I know because I touched that piece of necklace in the hall of ministry. But if you had lost it in the street, we would have heard it fall. It must be in the cab. Yes, that's probably it. Did you take his number? No. And you didn't you notice it? No. So immediately Lozel said, if that necklace fell on the street, we must have heard the noise of falling of the necklace. It is 100% sure that your necklace fell in the cab. Okay. So Lozel asked, Mathilde, have you taken the number of that cab driver? Okay, Mathilde said no. They stared at each other, stunned, and at last Lozel put his clothes on again. Okay, now they are staring at each other because no one was believing that what happened just right now. Okay, now Lozel started started dressing himself. I am going back, he said. Over the whole route we walked, see if I can find it. Now Lozel was started dressing himself, and he was saying, I'm going to find out your necklace, because for some kilometers we are traveling, because some kilometers we are walking, maybe your necklace fell down on the street. He left. She remained in her ball dress all evening without the strength to go to the bed, sitting on a chair with no fire, her mind blank. Okay, now Mathilde was just sitting, okay, because her mind was blank. She was not able to think anything except that necklace. Her husband returned at about 7 o'clock. He had found nothing. Lozel came back at his home at 7 o'clock, but empty handed. He didn't find any necklace. He went to the police, to the newspapers, to order reward everywhere, the tiniest glimmer of hope to lead him. She waited all day in the same state of blank despair from before this frightful disaster. Now Lozel had done everything possible, everything which is possible through his head. He lodged a police complaint. Even he offered an article in the newspaper that if anybody found this piece of necklace, kindly hand over me. But they are failed. And Mathilde was still sitting on the chair. Lozel returned in the evening, a hollow, pale figure. He had found nothing. You must write to your friend. Tell her you have broken the clasp of her necklace and that you are having it mended. It will give us time to look some more. Okay. Now Lozel, her husband, returned in the evening and looking very distraught at that time. Okay. Immediately he said, Mathilde, you should write a letter to Miss Forestier and ask for 3 days time, because tell her that you have broken the hook of that necklace. Okay, and if within this 3 days we are going to search for another option. She wrote as he dictated. She wrote as he dictated. At the end of 1 week, they had lost all hope. Okay, so Mathilde write a letter to Miss Forestier as dictated by her husband, and in this way, 1 week was passed. And Lawson, who had aged 5 years, declared, "We must consider how to replace the jewel." Okay, and when the 1 week was passed and they didn't find any piece of necklace, Loisel declared that we should consider, okay, we should consider how we can replace or how we can repay the amount of that necklace to Mrs. Forestier. The next day, they took the box which had held it and went to the jeweler whose name they found inside. He consulted his book. "It was not I, madam, who sold the necklace. I must simply have supplied the case." Okay. So next day, both Matilde and Loisel went to the jeweler. Okay. And now they are asking how they can replace it. Okay. And so they went from jeweler to jeweler looking for a necklace like the other one, consulting their memories, both sick with great anguish. Now both Loisel and Mathilde visiting from one jewelry shop to another jewelry shop because they want to purchase, because they want to buy another piece of necklace, and because they have to give to Miss Forestier. In a shop at the Palace Royal, they found a string of diamonds to be exactly what they were looking for. It was worth 40,000 francs. They could have it for 36,000. So, a shop which is present at the Palace Royal, they found the same piece of jewelry, same diamond piece of jewelry, but it cost 36,000 for them. 36,000 francs for them. So they begged the jeweler not to sell it for 3 days, and they made an arrangement that he would take it back for 34,000 francs if the other necklace was found before the end of February. So both Loisel and Mathilde requested that jeweler that please, for 3 days, at least for 3 days, don't sold this piece of necklace because we are going to buy this piece of necklace before the end of the February. Loisel had 18,000 francs which his father had left him. He would borrow the rest. Okay. Now, that diamond piece costed 36,000 francs and Loisel only have 18,000 francs. Rest of the money they have to borrow. And he did borrow, asking for 1,000 francs from one man, 500 from another, 5 louis here, 3 louis there. He gave notes, made ruinous agreements, dealt with usurers, with every type of money lender. He compromised the rest of his life, signing notes without knowing if he could honor them, and terrified by the anguish still to come, by the black misery about to fall on him, by the prospect of every physical privation and every mortal torture he was about to suffer, he went to get the new necklace and let down on the jeweler's counter 36,000 francs. Now, Loisel was succeeded by borrowing the rest of the francs, rest of the money. Okay, he was, even he signed the bonds. Okay, even he signed the agreement without reading it. Okay, he was not sure that he was able to pay those amounts in future or not. Okay, but still right now he only need money. That's why Loisel borrowed the rest of the money, and he put total 36,000 francs in front of that jeweler who has same piece of jewelry. When Madame Loisel took the necklace back, Madame Forestier said coldly, "You should have returned it sooner. I might have needed it." Okay. So when Madame Loisel took the necklace back, Madame Forestier said coldly, see, when Mathilde, okay, when Mathilde returned, okay, when Mathilde returned Madame Forestier's necklace, she said coldly, "Mathilde, I was thinking that you should return my jewelry as soon as possible, but you returned it very late." To the relief to her friend, she did not open the case. If she had detected the substitution, what would she have thought? What would she have said? Would she have taken her friend for a thief? Okay. So here, my dear student, Mathilde didn't open the box of the jewelry in front of Madame Forestier because she was thinking, if Madame Forestier recognized that this is not the piece of her jewelry, okay, maybe she considered Mathilde as a thief. From then on, Madame Loisel know the horrible life of the very poor, but she played her part heroically. The dreadful debt must be paid. She would pay it. They dismissed their maid. They changed their lodging. They rented a garret under the roof. And after spending 36,000, okay, 36,000 francs, and both husband and wife are drawn in debt. Okay, now they have to sell their house. Okay, Madame Loisel, okay, now Madame Loisel means Mathilde know the exact meaning of being a poor, okay. Now they also change their maid, okay, they also change their maid. Instead of maid, now Madame Loisel have to do each and every household course. She came to know the drudgery of housework, the odious labors of the kitchen. She was the dishes, staining her rosy nails on greasy pots and the bottoms of pan. She was the dirty linen, the shirts and the dish clothes which she hung to dry on a line. She carried the garbage down to the street every morning and carried up the water, stopping at each landing to catch her breathe and dressed like a commoner. She went to the fruiter, the grocer, the butcher's, her basket on her arm, bargaining, insulted, fighting out every miserable show. Okay, now at this point of time, Madame Loisel exactly know the meaning of being a poor. Okay, he has to carry all her house garbage. Okay, to put those garbage. Okay, outside their house, okay, so that garbage collector collect their garbage, okay. And after taking a bag in her hand, she was going fruit to she was going, okay, she used to go to the each fruit shop, grocery shop, and now she started bargaining, okay. Sometimes she feel insulted, okay, but although she has to do all her household core, okay. Previously, my dear student, maybe they are poor, maybe her husband was ordinary clerk in the Ministry of Education, but they live a decent life. At least both husband and wife have a maid, but due to this stubborn nature of Mathilde, now see, in reality they become poor, okay. Each month had to pay some notes, renew other. Her husband worked every evening doing accounts for a tradesman, and often late into the night he sat copying a manuscript at 5 shows a pages. And this lasted, and this life lasted for 10 years. So for okay, so for 10 years, okay, so for 10 years, Loisel and Mathilde life just going like this on. Her husband was doing double shift for repaying the loans which he has taken for replacing the necklace. At the end of 10 years, they had paid off everything at usurer's rate and with the accumulation of compound interest, okay. And it take total 10 years to repay their loans, okay, with interest. Madame Loisel looked old now. She had become strong, hard and rough like all women of improvised household. With hair half combed, with skirts awry and reddened hands, she talked loudly as she washed the floor with great swishes of water. But sometimes when her husband was at the office, she sat down near the window and thought of that evening at the ball so long ago when she had been so beautiful and so admired. Now, after 10 years, Madame Loisel appeared looked bit old now, okay. Her pretty nails are now look very damaged, okay. Now her appearance looked like a rough lady. Previously she appeared as a soft lady, but now she was looking like a rough lady, okay. So when sometime her husband went to office, Madame Loisel, Madame okay, Mathilde used to sit down in near the window, and she started thinking that how my life was going on before 10 years, how I used to live at least a peaceful life. But right now, see in what condition we are living. What would have happened if she had not lost that necklace? Who knows? Who knows? How strange life is, how fickle, how little is needed for one to be ruined or saved. Okay. And she was thinking about the party night. Okay. She was thinking in within a second, our life take a drastic change. Okay. What would have happened if me and Loisel didn't attend that party? Maybe we are now living a good life at least. But see, within a second, how life takes a drastic change. One Sunday, as she was walking in the Camps Elysees to refresh herself after the week's work, suddenly she saw a woman walking with a child. It was Madame Forestier, still young, still beautiful, still charming. So one Sunday morning, when she was walking in the when Mathilde was walking in the Champs Elysees, she saw a lady who was walking with her child, and she was none other than but Madame Forestier. Okay, Madame Forestier still look young. Okay, still look refreshed. Madame Loisel felt emotional. Should she speak to her? Yes, of course. And now that she had paid, she would tell her all. Why not? So Madame Loisel means Mathilde was feeling very emotional. She was thinking, should I talk with her? Yes, why not? I have repaid all the debts right now. I can talk to her. She went up to her. Good morning, Jane. So She went to meet Madame Forestier and said, "Good morning, Jane." The other astronaut addressed so familiarity by this common woman did not recognize her. She stammered. So immediately, Madame Forestier said, "But madam, I don't know you. You must have made a mistake. No, I am a Mathilde Loisel." Her friend uttered a cry. "Oh, my poor Mathilde, how you have changed." Okay. So when Mathilde asked, "Good morning, Jane," so immediately Madame Forestier said, "You are mistaking me. I'm not Jenny." Okay. So Mathilde said, "No, I am no. My name is Mathilde Loisel." So Madame Forestier said, "Oh, my poor Mathilde, what happened with you? Why you are looking so much pale?" "Yes, I have had some hard times since I last saw you, and many miseries, and all because of you." So Mathilde said, "Yes, my appearance is not looking good as like you, because this condition is because my condition behind my this condition, your hand lies." "Me? How can that be? You remember the diamond necklace that you lent me to wear to the ministry party?" "Yes, well, I lost it." So Mathilde said, so Madame Forestier was very much surprised. He said, "Me? I'm the reason behind your this miserable state." Mathilde said, "Yes, your hand lies behind this miserable condition. You remember the piece of necklace which I have taken from you to wear in ministry's party?" Madame Forestier said, "Yes, I remember." So Mathilde said, "I lost it. I lost your necklace." "What do you mean? You brought it back?" "I brought you back another exactly like it, and it was taken us 10 years to repay for it. It wasn't it easy for us. We had very little, but at last it is over, and I am very glad." Okay. So Madame Forestier was literally surprised. He said, "What? If you lost it, but you have given me back my necklace?" So Mathilde said, "Yes, I have given back your necklace because we have taken another piece of necklace to replace your lost necklace, and it takes 10 years, total 10 years, for repaying all that debts, but finally all debts are paid with interest, and right now I'm glad that me and my husband are finally free from the debt." Madame Forestier was stunned. "You said that you brought a diamond necklace to replace me." So Madame Forestier literally stunned. He said, "Mathilde, are you sure you have given me a diamond necklace?" "Yes, you didn't notice then? They were very similar." "Yes, we have given you a diamond necklace. You didn't notice your necklace and that diamond necklace look similar?" And she smiled with proud and innocent pleasure. And now Mathilde was having a very proud smile on her face. Madame Forestier deeply moved, take took both her hands. Now Madame Forestier was just behaving like that. In another second, she was going to fall down on the ground. Okay. Madame Forestier taking her both her hands like this, she started saying that, "Oh, my poor Mathilde, mine was an imitation. It was worth 500 francs at most." Okay. Now Madame Forestier was saying, "Oh, my poor Mathilde, what have you done? The piece of jewelry which I have given to you, it was an imitation jewelry, not a real diamond piece of jewelry." Imitation means duplicate, means a fake jewelry or a exact replica of the diamond or gold jewelry. These piece of jewelries are called imitation jewelry, and that imitation piece of jewelry cost not more than 500 francs only. Okay. This chapter is written by Guy de Maupassant. Okay, a French writer. So in this way, my dear student, we have completed this chapter. My dear student, this chapter gave us a very good life lesson to us. See, in this chapter, you have seen imitation jewelry only having the amount of 500 francs. Okay, so to replacing this piece of necklace, Mathilde and her husband paid 36,000 francs. Can you imagine? All this because due to the greediness of Mathilde. Mathilde always considered herself that I'm very poor. I don't have any luxury thing in my life. My husband is a very small clerk in a ministry of education. Okay, every time she kept complaining about her life. Every time. That's why God snatched all those things from her who make who make her not a poor person but at least a middle class person. Okay, so my dear student, never make any kind of complaint, because the luxurious things which you possess, maybe someone was crying for them. We all have a food on our plate. Okay, we all have a very good piece of clothes on our body. Okay, we all have a shelter, we all have a roof on our head. What we need? Okay, you can see the beggars sitting on the road, you can see the small child who are begging on the street lights. They don't have any proper food. Okay, they don't have any proper dresses to wear, they don't have any proper food to feed their stomach. Okay, you can see. So still are you complaining? Okay, still are you complaining that you are living a very hard life? No, don't complain, because sometime maybe God don't like it. Okay, in this chapter God didn't like all time complaining nature of Mathilde. That's why, for giving her a life lesson, she used Miss Forestier's necklace. Okay, now come with me, let's see the word meanings which we have discussed in this chapter. Delicacies means finely prepared or luxurious feast. Delicacies means delicious food. Instinctive, done without consciousness, thought natural or inherited. Instinctive means you have done thing without thinking properly. Elegance, refinement and gracefulness in appearance, manner or style. Elegance means having a very elegant nature. Antechambers are small rooms leading to a main room waiting room. Antechambers are many small rooms, okay, and they are connected with the main room which is present in the home. Tapestry, elaborate textile used as wall decorations, often depicting scenes. Tapestry means a piece of fabrics on which many scenes are printed. Okay, they used to hang on the wall. Gallantries, polite and attentive behaviors, often with a romantic or flirtatious intent. Gallantries means polite nature. Lark shooting, hunting small birds like lark for a for sport or food. Lark shooting means whenever hunters hunt small birds. Rapturously, with intense pleasure, enthusiasm or joy. Rapturously means you do some kind of work with full of joy. Usurers, money lenders who charge excessively high interest rate. Usurers means money lenders, okay, who give you money, but in return they are charging extra interest rates. Compound interest, interest calculated on both the initial principal and the accumulated interest from previous periods. Compound interest means, you all know very well, my dear student, you have studied about kind of compound interest in your mathematics books. Fickle, fickle, likely to change one's mind or loyalty, is unpredictable. Fickle means unpredictable nature. You literally don't know what you are going to do in next second. Imitation, copy or replica of something, often meant to resemble the original. Imitation means copy of the original item. Okay, so in this way, my dear student, we have completed our chapter number 9. Okay, now what you have to do, my dear student, just go thoroughly through this chapter and complete all the exercise based on this chapter. Now I'm taking leave and going to meet with you all in our next class with a new chapter or with a new poem. Till then, my dear students, you have to take very good care of yourself. Bye.